各位中马中龄校会的学长们、同学们，大家好，我是庄雪良，执一股主任。自从跨入2020年之后，全球便处于多事之秋，许多国家实行了行动管制，包括马来西亚。因此，中马中龄校会许多活动都被迫暂停了。在全球经济失去方向、动荡和逆境时期，到底我们还有没有投资的机会呢？而我们又该从哪得到投资的导航呢？我们非常的荣幸，请到了在动荡时期的投资这本书的作者，来为我们录制线上讲座。他就是1967年毕业于中林中学的陈俊贵博士学长。陈俊贵博士学长是 Firm Asset Management 的创办人和总裁。陈学长是一位家喻户晓的资深基金经理，他经常被人称为亚洲的沃伦·巴菲特。1997年，马来西亚雇员工基金局 EPF 委任了陈学长的公司 Firm Asset Management， 成为其中一家 External Fund Manager。至今，陈学长已为 EPF 管理基金超过了23年。除此，陈学长也为新加坡投资机构 Investment Corporation of the Government of Singapore 管理基金15年。其他管理的基金有挪威主权基金、日本的 Sumitomo Life、日本的 Aizawa Securities、瑞士的 New Private Bank 等等。另外，陈学长也为无数的个人户口和私人企业金融机构提供基金管理。陈学长的成就令他获得许多国家颁发的表彰。现在我们就开始今天的讲座，在动荡时期的投资。有请陈俊贵博士学长。
我的华语讲得不好，because 我 seldom have a chance to practice now, but I wish everybody safe, healthy, and happy. Yeah, I do this because I think if I can, I will share my knowledge with people. Yeah, but you know, as I have a strong belief that at the end of the day, you know, is how to add value to the industry and the society.
Dr. Tan, yeah, I would like to ask you a few questions. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, how are you coping with the MCO lately? Are you taking some time to write a new book? We have been looking forward for your new book.
Writing book is take a lot of times, you know, because you need to ensure the information are correct. Of course, writing the first book was quite challenging because at that time, we actually most people would like to write a book because you can share your idea to a lot of people and it will continue for long years to go. So, but writing a good book is the key. Writing a book that everybody can understand, everybody can benefit out of it. And you must write in such a way that your philosophy will last for a long time. When I was in the university, I read many investment books. As most students, if you are in the finance field, you want to see whether sometime in your lifetime you can be as good as them, you know. So I read, of course, you read the book of Warren Buffett. He's around for a long time, and Warren Buffett's so-called mentor was Benjamin Graham. So most of us will start reading those books. But there are many others, you know, like even George Soros, John Templeton. Then later on, Peter Lynch comes in. He's also a star. Then you have also another conservative fund manager like John Nabb, you know. But there are also other traders which we quite like. His name is called Gerard M. Locke. You know, he believed that in order to make money, you must read the major trend right, which is what I thought it makes sense. So when I start reading all these books, I feel that sometimes you can be quite confused because they're all different style. And most important thing is that the Western and the US, their market is relatively more stable. So you learn from people who manage fund in a very stable market. So I try to get the strength into every guru, and I try to compile them and try to apply into our volatile situations, which I think is quite a good thing to do, to find a philosophy which can take care of this volatility. Because we all believe in value investing. And by coincidence, in 1987, the market shoot up, So I felt, come on, you are buying a share up to ridiculous level. So I start selling the shares. So I keep on selling until I raised almost 65% cash, And suddenly, October the 19th, the market crashed, And that's what I benefited in 1987. And then when the market crashed, the price was so ridiculously low. Then I began to think that I should take a longer term. So I went in and buy share when a lot of people don't want to buy the share. But we thought that, we give you so much good value. So 1987 was my first success, I was voted top fund manager for Malaysia for the retirement fund. Then subsequently 1998 came. So I bought a lot of share at a very cheap price. I did very well for EPF for that year. 1997, we were not buying. When 1998 come along, after we buy all the cheap share, 1998 we did very well. We outperformed by a big margin for EPF. 1999, I felt it will continue to run because the market was so bad, during Asian crisis. So 1999, we did another 72%, which is a very huge outperformance, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, we did very well. 1, 4, ASEAN Fund did number 1 for 1 year to 19 years. And on our 20th anniversary, we ranked number 1 to 20 years. Now, that was a time I really think that I have a philosophy. A philosophy can never be perfect. There's actually no perfect formula to make money. But you must know how to do your research, bring in your experience, and try to do value investing, So at that time, I thought it was long enough after going through so many crashes, and then come number 1, That will be something that I think people will believe that, they can read this book and benefit out of it, But I thought that was a good timing because you have gone through so many crashes, like, Selling book, you can't make money, Selling book is just to add value to the industry and to add value to the society. Then I come around and say, look, all the profit I make, we will donate away, to the right people, So, and then that anger actually sell. That anger sell.
So, Dr. Tan, I would like to ask you, you have gone through, just now you mentioned, you have in your career for 44 years in the fund management, you have gone through the several down cycles. So, and apparently that you have the foresight to leverage on each crisis and turning them into opportunities. As the Chinese say, 危机就是机会. Can you tell us how did you turn crisis into opportunity and profit?
Okay, the key is this, if you study carefully, it's not by coincidence. It happens almost all the time. Before the crash comes, the market always goes up. And that is something that you need to study very well. So when the market goes up, the key is that you must start selling shares, because you need to feel that. You need to do your research. You need to have a feel. That's why I say research is important. Your experience also. Yeah. So it's important. So when they goes up, the key is that you must buy and then get out. Because why many people don't want to do that? When the market go up, you sell the shares. Actually, you're going to be underperformed. Because when you sell share, you have lesser share already. So the guy who's 95% invested, he will be searching ahead. And many people are not willing to do that because you cannot time it so accurately most of the time. I give you an example. 1987, that was my first try. When it goes up, I sold it. And I start underperforming the last 4 to 5 months. And that is the pain you need to go through. And when it crashes, don't reluctant to go back and buy the shares. Because you are in this line, you know which one has dropped so much and they are good company. Now, the beauty of a crisis is that the good and the bad share all go down. And I think you would agree with me. Now, you only want to buy the good shares. And these good shares are the one that's going to turn around. So in 1987, I was underperforming for at least 4 months. And then by the end of the year, a lot of people not willing to go and buy the cheap share. We went in, we were brave enough. You go in and buy the shares, and ending is that we outperform the benchmark by a big margin. And I think this is something that is quite interesting. Yeah. So whenever the market is super good, you need to get out. Unfortunately, if you are in a small cap, you need to be more careful. Because sometimes when you intentionally want to get out, but you cannot get out, that's the problem. That's why sometimes at times people say small cap are higher risk. But not totally true also. You pick the good small cap, they are superstar, you know? They are the dark horse. You know? So when you say, that's why this philosophy works. You never fully invest. And then when the market goes up, you try to get out. And when you are able to get out, when it crashes, you have the cash. Your opponent is going to get hurt at the maximum because it's fully invested. So fund management, not an easy job. Very stressful also. A lot of hard work. And you're doing things that you know, quite a lot of people also don't accept what you do. When the market keep on going up, you keep on underperforming. People say, hello, you're so experienced. Come on, do me a favor. You're underperforming. But that's temporary, hopefully.
Okay, Dr. Tan, you have served as EPF external fund manager since 1997. Can you share with us the difference between 1998 financial crisis compared to what we are facing now in year 2020? How volatile is Asian financial market this time round?
Asian crisis, actually, to be fair, Asian crisis doesn't affect Dow Jones, you know. Asian crisis only affected Asia. You understand? If you ask me 2020 versus global financial crisis, it will be more interesting. You know why? Because global financial crisis also affect US. Asian crisis take a long time to drop, you know, to drop more than 70%. Okay, that take 1 year plus, you know. If you study carefully, let's take a look at 2020. But you notice that 2019, Dow Jones has done very well. The market is clearly indicating to me that it's overvalued. And the growth is slowing down. In fact, that was the most important sign. When the market keep on going up, with the growth not able to sustain, that is really the best sign. But you can never guess it accurately. More so, Dow Jones went up very strongly in January and part of February. And that was a trigger point, you know. Then if you look at Dow Jones dropped from February the 12th to March the 23rd. I think Dow Jones dropped 37 to 38%. And that is one of the sharpest drop. That is only 5 weeks and 3 days. there is some similarity in the sense that when global financial crisis come, the demand also going down. The banks are all in trouble. And the thing is that it's also affected the whole world. But the difference this time is that you are also going towards not so good economy because you are at the peak in US. Then here you go, you have COVID coming in. Global financial crisis got no COVID. Global financial crisis is just selling all the toxic assets. They are just over committed. Yeah. So but you may want to see what is the impact. Actually, the impact is very interesting. The market is a very dangerous place to some extent. So you need to diversify. So okay, now so now you have this COVID coming in. What's so important about COVID? COVID is that you 100% affected your productivity very badly. You're asking people not to open shop. You're asking people not to work. And then a whole bunch of people are sick, So people are quite frightened. But this time, potentially, economy will slow down, but you have COVID. You understand? Then you want to ask further, what happened to the interest rate? US at that time. Now, global financial crisis, the interest rate are a bit higher, so they can ease the interest. At the moment, your US interest rate is already at the lowest. And when your interest rate is so low and yet your market crash, So investing is an art. There's no static, Every crash comes differently. So the key is that your economy will slow down and you have a COVID which is hanging around. Yeah. So that is a big difference. But I always believe that they will sort it out.
What do you anticipate the recovery? Will be V, U, or W recovery during this crisis?
I think these are very theoretical, because when you say crisis come in three forms. One of them is company crisis, one of them is the industry crisis, one of them is a market crisis. But whenever you say crisis, people tend to just talk about the market. It's not true. The company can have a crisis. It's also an opportunity. Sometimes people go and spread a bit of bad news, but it's not true, but sometimes it's true, Yeah. Then industry, like palm oil has been bad for a while, and then suddenly palm oil come back, tin also same, nickel also same, So they have their own cycle, So
Okay, can Dr. Tang tell us that could you predict the inflation rate that we'll be facing in the coming months or a year?
Coming months, I do not see high inflation in short term. How do you have inflation when the demand is not there? Not likely. But when they do budget deficit, when they start printing money, that's where later on, when the economy recovers some more, so you have a lot of money out there and the economy recover, that will be the time when they have inflation now. But I don't see inflation in the short term.
Okay, let's go a little bit back to the history. We always read about the Great Depression from 1929 to 1939. Are we going to experience something similar? Everybody talking about Great Depression. Are we living in Great Depression now, or it is fast approaching to us? How long do you think that the depression will last? It's not.
Depression, most probably you have 4 or 5 quarters in a row or a few years of negative growth. But anyway, we will not go there. We will not go there. You know why? In the 30s, they not only didn't stimulate the economy, they tightened things further, which will never happen. The new generations, they will go for stimulations. That's why we will never go to depression. We can have a recession, but we will not. When you have 2 quarters of negative growth, it's recessions. It's recession. So I think looks like it's going to happen. First quarter cannot be good. Second quarter also cannot be good. So if country that go negative economic growth rate 2 quarters in a row, Many of them will have that situation. So it's recession. You more or less can see that it will be slowing down significantly. IMF just came out with a report not too long ago. Then you can see they are forecasting negative growth rate for this year. For most countries, US, they're forecasting economic growth rate to be minus 5.9%. Italy is among the worst, I think. Italy is going for 9.1, which is the worst of the whole bunch. Spain is minus 8%. Even China is no good. Even China, they're going for... China has never grown so badly. China is going to go for only 1.2% positive. So China is among the better one. Yeah. India is still going to be positive 1.9. Yeah. Germany, surprisingly, Germany is minus 7%. France is minus 7.2%. Malaysia is interestingly minus 1.7%. You can see already, your productivity total knockout. You think you work at home, your productivity is better. I don't believe that. I think most people think that the stock market performance is equal to economic growth rate, but it's not true. Very often it doesn't happen like that. Very often never happened like that. 1998, Malaysia economic growth rate is minus 7.4%. Minus 7.4. No, you are only talking about minus 1.7%, which is worse. Your Asian crisis is much worse. Okay, now, most important thing, these are just data. Malaysia economic growth rate was so bad in 1998, but the stock market, KLCI, hit the lowest point on September the 1st. September the 1st, your economic growth rate quarterly, is about the worst, It's 10.2 minus, my friend. You know how bad that time is? No. So it already hit the lowest point on September the 1st. Your third quarter economic growth rate is ending September, right? But they already minus 10.2. Worse still, the fourth quarter is minus 11.2. Do you know the market already start running? And the market from September the 1st to December 31st up, almost up, if I'm not mistaken, more than 100%. Okay, that's number one. Number two, when people are pessimistic, it goes down, and it goes down way below the value, And I think a good fund manager is there when you say crisis is an opportunity, is there to pick them up. And the share will just go up, because they go way below the value. Even the share never go back to the normal value, still below normal value, you already make money. But very few. So it's a very skillful job. Market, when you always listen to people say, when people are optimistic, they are over-optimistic. That's what happened beginning of this year. When they're pessimistic, they are over-pessimistic. They just sell the share down. So if you are the strong believer that crisis is an opportunity, you watch. The market behave according to the people reaction. How do you know how? But you can only look at the statistic. You can only try to figure it out. So I always believe, I know some company very well, and I know he do well. I know I can trust him. That's why I always tell people that in this kind of situation, the good and the bad go down. You just choose the good one. Not only choose the good one, And this kind of environment, make sure the company has no gearing. Make sure the management is good, trustworthy, and make sure that this industry can come back. You may drag for a while. That's why in this kind of environment, you must have long-term fund. You must be willing to temporarily underperform. I think your percentage of success in a short term is not so good now, because the market is very volatile, and many of the industry are hurt very badly. So you need to be very careful. That's why when we advise people now, is that okay, unless you have long-term fund, but if you have long-term fund, you are in a very advantaged position because the share now are very cheap. Then you go and buy share that you think they can recover. Not all companies are doing badly. So you will be someone who are able, especially those are very lowly geared. That's why those companies you see certainly came out again is because they are geared. That's why our philosophy is we don't like to buy high gearing company. Company that we buy normally they have very low gearing. That's a very good discipline.
Okay, there is a saying, hold on to your cash and during a crisis. Okay, so Dr. Tan, where is the safest place to safeguard or even grow our cash amidst the uncertainties? Because we understand your philosophy, your investment philosophy is never fully invest at all times. So can you tell us that when is the time that don't fully invest?
Yeah, you should never fully invest when the market is very high. And when you want to figure it out, how do you figure it out? It's always that the market is already very high and you think the earning growth cannot sustain. So that's the time when you think it's very high. And a lot of time you buy a share, it has gone up a lot. Now, to be fair, when the market crashed, the king is the one who have the cash. But then now, let me ask you now, when you have cash today, what are you going to do? Okay, I give you a few options. You can put in the fixed deposit, but are you happy with fixed deposit? No, it's so low, Then, can you buy bonds? The interest rate is already so low. Now, if you ever buy bonds, you must buy only short-term bond. Now, short-term bond also give you almost close to your fixed deposit. You're also going to be unhappy. Now, if you buy long-term bonds, the interest chances to go up is higher. So if the interest rate go up, you buy long-term. Instead of buying bond which you think is safe, you actually take a very high risk. You should never do that. When the interest rate is at the lowest, chances that interest rate will go up. You buy long-term bond, you lose your pants. You lose a lot of money. So bond is also not good for you. Fixed deposit not good for you. Which one can you do? You can buy gold. So what do you think of gold? It's very hard to read. They say if US dollars run into problem, you should buy gold. Because in the global financial crisis, the gold went up very sharply when they have no confidence in US dollars. So you need to watch US dollars and the gold. But don't forget, gold don't pay interest rate. So US dollars has that advantage. But if you keep on losing money in US dollars, gold become your good hedge. Now many central banks also use gold as their reserves, So gold is another option, but gold also has gone up. Yeah. You notice that this is the first time when US dollars is strong, gold is also strong. Yeah. Very interesting. That means this is people believe in this option. Whether you can make money or not, it's just the same like you analyze any other shares, okay? Then your fourth option is that you buy shares. Share, you should never go and buy them when they're very high. Your chances of winning to buy share is when they're low. But if you don't know how to invest, just go and buy a fund. Go and pick a fund manager that you like. Go and pick a fund that have low, like balanced funds, have lower equity and also have some fixed income. So you can grow more steadily, you won't get hurt. So at the max, Okay. So the last one will be, of course, you can go and buy property. Property is also very long term. I'm very biased. Share is slightly better because share is more liquid. Both are long term, property. But saying that, if you buy property at the right place, at the right time, property also can give you a lot of profit. So my answer to you, you have 5 options. You tell me which one is a good option when the market is so bad. Obviously, to me, share is the best option. Many people are quite interesting. You ask them to go into equity, they say, alamak, market is so high and all these things. And when market crash, they do nothing, And to be fair, from the lowest point, our market has gone up, Let's more extreme. When a share drop 80%, you can find one, You drop 80%. But when you buy at that 80% drop, that means from $1 to 20 cents. You buy at 20 cents. 20 cents go back to $1 is 400%, You tell me, you only expected to do 20%. You're so happy already. Tell me what is your chance? It's when market crash. But a lot of people, market crash, and they're not in this line, and the market is volatile,
So, Dr. can you advise our Ling Ablu 9 members and younger generation when to start investing? For a person who just started their career, they should buy a house first or invest in shares first?
Hopefully you get more money. You get more money. You can afford to buy a house. You can afford to invest, But the key is that try not to cultivate expensive habit. Because, character. People value your integrity. People value your honesty. The super rich do that. You're lucky you get some of them. So you need some people to believe in you. So young people, you should try not to cultivate expensive habit. You should try to save money. If you have extra money, then that's how you invest. Then when you want to invest, you be more brave when the market crash. That is that's my. Then if you don't know how to, go and find a fund manager, because they can make money for you. You have to do homework. There are so many of them. You got to find a good one. That's how I would advise them. But go and talk to people who know more than you. Just listen to people. Try not to go and talk too much, because the guy is better than you. So you need to go and talk to people who are better than you. That is a mix around with people who are good. You learn a lot. If you don't learn how to invest, you learn how people do their business, how people are successful,
A lot of young people tend to have a wrong perception on investment. They always misled by sensational information and rumors. Amateur may have to pay a hefty price on this. How to prevent this from happening, Dr. Tan?
I read many books. I try to find a way how these people make their money. And I try to apply. And I remember the first stock I bought after I graduated, I bought an Inchcape. Inchcape was the one that hold the franchise of Toyota. So at that time, the market crashed. Actually, you notice I graduated in the year 1974. At the end of the 1974 was almost the worst of the market because the first oil shock is in 1973. Another oil shock in 1974. 73 and 74 are among the worst market in the world. They are quite close to Asian crisis, I came out very hard to find job. I was very badly paid, I think. So but I saved my money. I start investing. I go to study part-time. I read company handbook and things like that. So you learn more and then you study first,
You always emphasize in investment in technology and semiconductor sectors. is your investment strategy still the same during or after this COVID-19?
You see why I do that? I do that because these are the growth sector. But growth sector, if the price has gone up too much, any share, any good company, if the share price are too high, sometimes I think it's no good, you know. So you want to buy and undervalue. So that's why value investing is still a good guideline now. So you buy, you see our criteria very simple. Low gearing, can grow, good management, and the price is good. The price is down, you know. And as simple as that. Of course, more complicated than that. You need to know the company. And when you have knowledge, you tend to make a better decision. And we still watch the tech stock very carefully. I think 5G is coming on. It's just a matter of time. And you have to restart the engine again, you know. You stop your production, you know, and then you stop people from. Then you also have logistic problem, you know. So these are something which you don't underestimate. Now you also need to be careful. You know, when shares certainly go up sharply, you also need to be careful.
And you are always being referred as the Asia #1 investment guru. What makes you put so much faith in Asia, especially ASEAN? You always emphasize on ASEAN. Yeah.
If you look at now, I think ASEAN is still one of the highest growth region. Besides China, India, I think ASEAN is the next one. You know, because ASEAN also have Vietnam, ASEAN also have Philippines, Indonesia, all this. You know, so in terms of growth, I think ASEAN is among the highest growth. And of course, at the end of the day, it's the price. And then you will look at Price Waterhouse forecast 2050. I think they rate Indonesia top 4 in the world. What a shock. ASEAN has a lot of resources. ASEAN has young people. ASEAN also have good people. Yeah, but we must make use of the good people. Yeah, that's the key. You look at China. China did the right thing to some extent, you know. They make use of the young people. You make use of the talents, give them education, give them a chance to perform, you know. That's why they grow very fast. And they also, I mean, you also must work very hard. Anyway, I wish all the best. My formula is not a perfect formula. My formula can work. My formula has some wisdom, can help you a bit here and there. But you also need to be careful, you know. Yeah. A lot of time when you read, a lot of time when you talk to me, I only tell you all the good story. I also make mistake. And if I make mistake, you can also make mistake. So you also need to be careful, you know. That's all. I mean, in life, it's like that, you know. You need to try your best, you know, go for it. And at some point of time, you have the opportunity. Life cannot be too complacent. So we keep on fighting, you know. So the long-term track record means a lot. Anyway, wish you all the best, my friend. If you meet me, you don't, I mean, nowadays I do quite a lot of conference. I don't mind, you know. I also squeeze them a bit, take some of their money and give to charity. Not a lot of money. OK，
好的，谢谢陈俊贵博士。我希望下次我们再邀请这个疫情过后，再邀请陈博士来中林校会、中马中林校会来为我们的校友在现场做讲座啊。谢谢，感恩陈俊贵博士，谢谢。